Biafran Prime Minister Simon Ekpa warns against misrepresentation, vows to secure Biafrans. These and many more on News Roundup today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wonderful people. Welcome once again to Exposed News TV. And you are highly welcome to News Roundup in Biafran land. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and make sure you turn on your notification because we will be giving you all confirmatory and quality news happening in Biafran territory. Now, straight up to the news in details. The news. The Prime Minister of Biafran Republic, government in exile, Simon Ekpa, has warned against misrepresentation of Biafran agitation and an alleged plan to settle refugees, migrants, and internally displaced persons in Imo State. Simon Ekpa disclosed this in a statement through his official S account, condemning the labeling of the Biafran Liberation Army as gunmen and killers. His comments are in reaction to a recent viral video which alleged that the Imo State government and the federal government plan to settle refugees, internally displaced persons and migrants at the National Open University of Nigeria, now Nsu Ehime Mbano Center. However, Simon Ekpa vowed to protect the southeast region against terrorism, banditry, and other elements of insecurity. According to him, the lives of every Biafran remains sacrosanct to Biafran Republic government in exile. In his words, he said, "Dear Sahara reporters, the Biafran forces are taking down every terrorist facilities in Biafran land for the security of Biafran women and children. There is nothing like gunmen. Biafran government will not allow any Boko IDP camp in Biafran land. Now go and report the truth and stop being stupid. Biafran government is in charge of the security in Biafran land, not Nigeria. And under my leadership, we will do everything to secure Biafran territory," he posted on his S handle. And that is that, from the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa Njoko, who is doing everything possible to secure, Biafrans in Biafran land. That is what we call a leader. That is what we call a man, who actually takes the affairs of those he is ruling at heart. On other news today, hoodlums burn senator's house in Imo State. Yes, this is a very critical news, that just came, and we all saw the video. I posted the video over and over again yesterday, on this channel and also on other channel. Now let us go straight up to the issue. As hoodlums burned down senator's house in Imo State, and that is Senator Frank Ibezim. Yes, the former federal lawmaker. The news in detail. Suspected hoodlums have on Monday night burnt the residence of a former federal lawmaker, Senator Frank Ibezim, at Ezeoke, Nsu in Ehime Mbano local government area of Imo State. The hoodlums stormed the residence, setting it ablaze alongside some facilities at the National Open University of Nigeria Study Center in the area. According to reports, the cause of the action was traced to federal government plan to renovate the NOAA facility as a training ground for repentant BH insurgents. This was reportedly met with strong disapproval from indigents of the community. A resident of the community who spoke to journalists under anonymity disclosed how the community has rejected the plan and the project. And then Frank Ibezim, is suffering, for working hand in hand with the Nigerian government, to bring in terrorists into Biafran land. And also on other news today, on other critical news, the news coming to us is that the Igwe, the traditional ruler of Lilu community, Lilu, has his house has been raised down, ablaze. It has been set ablaze by men. Let me just use the word by men, because of his rebellious nature. He rebelled against Biafra. And one thing about this rebellious thing is when you rebel against Biafran government, when you rebel against the Biafran, you will meet a Waterloo, and you will pay for the atrocities of rebellious nature. And that is that on that issue. And other news, because so many things have been happening today in Biafran land. There's a video I want to play, a video of OK Bakassi. Everybody knows OK Bakassi. OK Bakassi is a comedian, but currently now, is he okay, but not OK Bakassi? Basket Mouth. Yeah, Basket Mouth. Sorry about that. A video of Basket Mouth. People know Basket Mouth is a comedian. He has come out also, to destroy and finish the zoo, clearly that and stating clearly that there is no hope for the zoo anymore. And that is just the reality. When you are looking at the activities happening in the zoo, you will agree with me that there is no hope. Let us play the video before we go into other issues trending and happening in Biafran land on News Roundup.
Quote me anywhere. Think about it. In 1970, the year I was born, it was 1 naira to $1. This year now is $1 to 1,600.
Mm-hmm.
There was never a time in that 45 years till date, 46 years, whatever, that the dollar crashed and went back to what it was and stayed there. That's never happened. Think about it. And for every time it changes, all the conversations you'll be hearing now, no, you go better. It's getting worse, bro. What are the policies? What have they done? Instead, they've increased the amount to do passport photography. So the passport photograph, 100 page now is not 100,000 naira.
Are you kidding me?
100K. They just increased it. Because they know because the people they jackman. I think, our government people, I know what they think. And they suspect, say, they plan this thing. And they suspect, because think about it, they're going to make the Nigerian population suffer. So when everybody can suffer, they will now want to jackman. They will now increase the price of passport to 100 naira. So that we will now make money. This guy's bad. So all these things where you do something to increase the passport price.
No, but I still haven't given up hope.
My brother,
I'm serious. I feel like
I will not say I've given up hope. I'm very hopeful. I believe that one day,
like a politician.
Yeah.
One day the country will be better. The dollar will drop
to 1 to 1.
Yeah, 1 to 1. Yeah, let's all believe in that pipe dream.
It's gonna be okay.
Even not.
Well, okay. Or not.
Well, bro, think now. You said you think. Let's be real now. Waiting they want to fix her.
We just need to have. We just have to.
We just need. We know it's done, bro.
Oh.
It's over.
I think it's over.
It's over.
He said it's over.
And this show too is over.
It's over then.
I need to go and pack. I'm going back to the same country. I'm going back.
Yeah.
I'm leaving tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Already, as we are talking now, so they've told me that there's no fuel.
So when you go home now, you're gonna.
My brother, I'm walking home.
No. Well, looks like y'all need to go back to the strip club.
Yeah, you see?
I don't know what else to tell you at this point. I've heard it. I've heard it all.
No, my brother, I won't lie to you. People just talk. So let's leave. See, there are some things I don't like talking about. You see, Nigerian music. Yeah, I won't lie to you. Like, I forget in African how would they come. I didn't want to put my mouth in their matter at all. Do you understand? Everybody, we have our own problems too. Everybody did their own. So let everybody. Me too. I'm facing. And my problem now is that my leg, they music, they movie, so I suffer from all.
That is that on that issue. The reality is that you do not need a soothsayer, to tell you that this contraption called Nigeria is about to go down the drain. You don't need a soothsayer. You don't even need, a prophet to tell you about it. The reality is what we are seeing currently, concerning the state of the country. But before the country will pafuka finish, as they talk the Biafran Republic government in exile is asking for the freedom of Biafrans. Let them organize or let them accept the referendum, that has been conducted already by the Biafran Republic government in exile. Thank you once again for joining us on Now News Roundup today, happening in Biafran land. I'll leave you with this wonderful video, an interview for every Biafran to watch. Please make sure you share this video to as many groups and platforms as possible. God bless you.
80 years old. In fact, by December this year, I will clock 80.
Oh, beautiful.
I believe I will be more because there were no registries when I was born. And if there were, nobody registered me.
Okay.
I chose the date I was born. In other words, when I was going for entrance exam in the 50s, I had to go and swear an affidavit as to my age. And I chose my age from my friends who were born about the same time.
Okay.
So my people told me. So I am about 80. I attended CIC Enugu and then joined the Nigerian Army in 1960. That is before independence. I joined the Nigerian Army when it was called Royal Nigerian Army, and I attended as a pioneer of the Nigerian Military Training College, which was at Kaduna. I attended it for 6 months, and from there I was chosen as one of the 5 people sent to Sandhurst. So I went to Sandhurst with Akine Ade, if you remember Akine Ade, who is now a Lieutenant General, Owakwe, who is already dead, Ihedibo, an ex-CIC like myself, and a Romobo with me. These are the people who went to Sandhurst. Normally the best 5 were sent to Sandhurst, and I was lucky to be among the best 5. That's it. So we went to Sandhurst, and I want to be brief because I have a lot of things to say about myself, both right and wrong. So I went to Sandhurst. From there, I came back to Nigeria. No, I went to a place called Chatham to do military engineering, and it was for 1 year. And after that, I came back to Nigeria, and Nigerian Army sent me to America. So I went to Fort Belvoir in Virginia to do career engineer officer career course. So that's what happened. After that, I came back to Nigeria in 1965, and lo and behold, things were not going well in the country. You remember the 1964 elections and all that? There were some reverberations with regard to the goings on in the country that were, not doing well for Nigeria. So I got involved in the Coup of January 66, for which I was detained by Ironsi. I was detained in Lagos, Kirikiri, from Kirikiri to all sorts of prisons, including Enugu prison. And by July 1966, I was at Abakaliki prison. I wasn't the only one. We were about 28 of us anyway. So I was detained there. And then there was July coup. Unfortunately, the coup, second coup came in July, end of July. That is after the emergence of Gawan became a fait accompli. So Irunsi was killed by Northerners who did the July counter coup. Ojukwu, who was the governor of the East, decided that he will release us from prison. So I was released with Nzogo and other people who were not killed by the Northern Turks when they struck in July 1966. Yeah. And that is because we were held in the East. Okay. And typical of, coups, the counter coup, had no effect in Enugu. It had effect in Lagos, in everywhere except Enugu. And so, and that was because some troops in 1st Battalion, which was at Enugu, heard about or had wind about the coup coming in, that's a counter coup, and seized the armory. The armory is where they kept arms. They seized it, and so when Northerners came to take over the armory, they were arrested. And those Northerners, including Yaradua, the Yaradua that is dead now, a lot of them, and Ojukwu was consulted because at that time he was hiding in the police headquarters. But eventually he was consulted, and he used those people arrested, those Northerners arrested, as a bargaining chip to get our people who were in the North, who were arrested in the North, released and brought home. Oh. The only thing is that when the Northerners in the East were going home, they were allowed to go home with their personal weapons. Whereas those of our people who were in the North, who were allowed to go, were not allowed to go with their personal weapons. In any case, and they were lucky they had their lives with them. So that's it. After that, then the war came. Gawan, who said to the world there was no basis for unity, fought a war of unity. In fact, brought war of unity to our doorstep. You understand? Yeah. Brought the war here, and that's why I don't have any regard for him, because he said there was no basis for unity. And in another breath, he talked about unity. He had reneged over the Aburi decision that no war should be used in solving Nigerian problem. Today, you can see what is happening in the political arena. Gawan is not saying a word. When he has opportunity to talk, he says, I don't want anybody to do anything about unity that will affect our unity. Unity is for the living, not for the dead. Dead people don't talk about unity. And therefore, what is important is that he should be a man and speak up against a man who is ruling this country wrongly. Because he was the one who imposed a war of unity on Nigeria. And many people died. Unfortunately, Nigerians don't have statistics as to how many people died either this way or that way. That is Nigeria for you. And anybody who cares can say anything and do anything and get away with it. Okay. That is not. So anyway, apart from the one saying basis of unity, we fought a war. I fought a war, and for which I got this wound. I got this wound at Abo after the 9th mile corner, and it's a machine gun wound, and it has its debilitating effect right now. That's why I'm traveling to see what can be done. Not that I want to continue living because it doesn't bother me one way or the other. God's time is the best. Now, after the war, the same Gawan said, no victor, no vanquished. But the same Gawan set up a board of inquiry headed by Adebayo. And the board of inquiry was to determine what we, ex-Nigerian army officers, did against Nigeria during the war. But he said no victor, no vanquished. And today, how are they treating us? There is victor, there is vanquished. Everybody knows that. All right? All right. So he set up that board of inquiry, and they determined that we should be rearrested and detained. And that's what I covered in the Fall of Biafra. How they treated us. We went back to Kirikiri. First of all, Porakot prison, where they were giving us, I don't know. It's not good. I don't want to rewrite a book. Let's just live, sleeping dogs lie. So I went to detention 1970, 71, 72, 73, 74. We were in prison. No trial. But thanks to Dr. Tai Solari, you remember him? Yeah. He made a march from Ikene to Lagos, persuading Gawan to release us. There were people outside Nigeria who were bothered about our being continually, being detained. And even some people went to the United Nations to talk about us. But Nigerian government, Gawan's Nigerian government, there were no detainees in Nigeria. No detainees. And so we spent about 5 years in prison without trial. And when they were there to release us, it was Hassan Usman Katsina who received us at the Lagos Garrison Organization, and he said to us, look, from now on you can go, but don't enter any military barracks and all that. These are the people who said no victor, no vanquished. And he released us, not even a kobo to any of us for transport home from Lagos. But you see, no man is an island. This God we serve, he knows everything. He sees everything. And I thank him, because I'm here today talking about what experiences I have. There are people who haven't had that kind of experience. Yes. So I thank God. So after that, I came out, starting life afresh. I don't want to go into that anymore because it's an old story. So that is where it ended. All right. Until I started writing books. I am not very good at writing books, because if I were good, I would have written more than 3. Actually, I have another book titled Figments and Nothing. Okay. But it doesn't matter. So,
all right, sir. Thank you so much. You're giving us an overview, a summary of a very wonderful life, full of experience. And we thank God for your life, that you're staying here with us to share your experience with us. Now let's go down to the coup, because from the coup, or from the political instability in the West, which led to the coup, then from the coup to the genocide war, then to the current Nigerian system, what we are experiencing now. Now, you talked about the coup, or being co-opted into the coup. What led to the coup and all that? Give us an insider and personal experience of you being part of that coup and why it is called Igbo coup. And you wrote a book called 5 Measures.
Yeah, Nigeria's 5 Measures.
Nigeria's 5 Measures.
Thank you very much. The thing is, I don't want to repeat what I have already said in my book, but the point is, the coup came as a result of our taking exception to what was happening in Nigeria. People making nonsense. There's a former governor of the North who wrote lately that Nigeria is ripe for a coup. Did you read it?
Yeah, I think I saw it.
What's up? Yes. He said Nigeria is ripe for a coup. When people come and start messing up other people's lives, because some people are not serious about leadership. They are not serious. They are not serious about Boko Haram. They are not serious. And they don't even want to involve you. They are divisive. They are pushing you away instead of bringing you in. And yet we had fought a war of unity. Can you imagine it? It is unconscionable that you should find a war of unity, a war to keep Nigeria one and indivisible. And yet, somebody who calls himself a ruler or a leader is dividing the country, pushing people aside, saying this is not qualified or qualified. This is ridiculous. If an Igbo man is being killed today, many people won't bat an eyelid. Whereas if it's somebody else, oh, they will start crying out. I was expecting Nigerians to come out and speak against the question of pushing Igbos out of the system. Igbos form a part of the tripoid in this country. You can't push them away. In fact, Igbos form the largest ethnic nationality in Nigeria. And I stand to be corrected. And yet they are being treated as commoners, as though they don't exist.
Okay,
But you see, let me just say this. Our people say, oh, so the best thing is to ignore all those things and move on.
Okay, but why was it called Igbo coup? Now, who made it Igbo
I
coup?
have already explained it in my book. It was called Igbo coup from day one. As soon as the coup took effect on the 15th of January 1966, BBC came out with a pronouncement that 5 Igbo majors did a coup in Nigeria, trying to seize power. That is why I wrote a book titled, I wrote this book in prison, Kirikiri, even though we are not allowed to write, but it doesn't matter. So I wrote it, calling it Nigeria's 5 Majors. But in the text, I explained that it was a wrong nomenclature given by BBC. In other words, I was castigating BBC for the word 5 majors. Because there were more than 5. There were in fact 8. The thing is, Igbos constituted at that time more than 60% of officer corps of the Nigerian army. So you would expect that most of the people to do a coup against the government should be in the Igbo. It was not an Igbo coup. There are other coups in this country after that. You don't name a coup after those in the majority. You should investigate the coup first. Because if anybody did the investigation, you would see that they might call it a Yoruba coup. Because it was only Awolowo that was standing to gain from that coup. Only Awolowo was the political juggernaut that was gained from that coup.
The beneficiary of that coup.
Yes. And yet they say Igbo coup because it suited them to say it's an Igbo affair. But eventually, because I said, I have been to Oputa panel, we've killed that matter. And somebody like Babangida said, we are now better informed. And most importantly, Ademoyega, a Yoruba, wrote a book titled Why We Struck. I recommend this book to all Nigerians.
Was he part of the coup?
Of course, Major Ademoyega was part of the coup.
Good.
He was one of the majors.
And he's a Yoruba?
Yes. And he said, he claimed in his book, Why We Struck. I'm saying it emphatically so that anybody can go and buy that book. It's in the bookshops. Incidentally, he's dead now, but the books are there. Okay, Why We Struck says, we are only 3 that did the planning of that coup. And he named them. Himself, Ademoyega, is from the University of London. He read history before joining the army. Nzogu, from Opanam, and Ima Ifajuna, 3 of them. Any other thing you hear? And they were to do that coup in 1961. But you see, they kept postponing it. And they had reasons to postpone these coups. Because if you are going to do a coup against, let's say, A, and A is not in the country, what do? Do a coup in Bakum? No, it's not done.
Okay. Now, you talked about the Oputa panel.
Yes.
And before we get to that point, because Oputa panel was set up during the current dispensation, democratic dispensation.
Under Obasanjo.
Under Obasanjo's
Yes.
presidential dispensation.
And Oputa panel recommended that Igbos should be apologized to, and they should be compensated. I want to stand corrected. And of course, Obasanjo came out openly saying, my government will not apologize to anybody, and we will not pay compensation to anybody. He said it on TV, NTA.
So now, after the war, after that genocide war,
yes.
Many people, the videos are out there, what our people passed through, what you experienced, the kind of suffering, deprivation, air barricade and the land, sea blockade and all that, the
yes.
Now, after that war, a victor, no victim,
no vanquish.
Yeah, was declared, and they called a program. They called 3 hours: the reconstruction, the rehabilitation, and the reintegration. How did that go?
How did it go?
Yeah.
How did it go? Sorry.
Yeah.
Now the point is this: even if we cry from here to thy kingdom come, if the government of the day doesn't want to do anything, it won't do anything. We will always be talking while they will be chopping. All I can tell you is, Gawan said they were going to have the 3 R's, rehabilitation, reconstruction, and whatever it is. What has he done? Boko Haram is being fought in the northeast today, but they have been reconstructing and rehabilitating them. Though the amount of money being voted, the one of Biafra that was fought how many years ago? It ended in 1970. Who has been rehabilitated? Nothing.
What have been reconstructed?
But you see, Obasanjo has given us a hint as what decisions they took after the war, because Obasanjo was the commander of that Marine Commando, and it was through them that the war ended, okay, at Owerri. So he has given us a hint that they took a decision against Igbo, against Ndi Igbo, yes. So we know, and let me tell you, it's not good to be crying like a baby. It's not. I know that Igbos can take care of themselves. That's why I detest the idea of anybody talking about want to be president. Why do you want to be president? President of what? We should know what is happening, sit down and talk, and decide on the modalities for moving forward. What we should do is not to cause another civil war, but to handle our fate, holding our fate in our own hands.
Okay.
Simple, and we can do it.
And okay, before we get to that, because I'm still going to come to that now, the issue of Biafra have resurrected. It seems the spirit of those who died during the Biafran war have come back to repossess even the children that never saw the war or had anything about the war.
That is the point.
And they are now shouting, Biafra, Biafra, Biafra. We want it now, not tomorrow. Yes. Now, as a father who have seen it all, who was part of it, will you say that before that coup, or the incident before that coup, the coup and the war and after the war, and what is happening today in Nigeria, is there any difference? Or has it gotten worse?
Things are worse today than before. There is more crisis in Nigeria today than before. In fact, the only thing, the difference is the war itself. There's more crisis. Name any ethnic nationality. Talk about kidnapping. Talk about herdsmen. Talk about... Good Lord. So, I don't know where to start.
All right, sir, honestly speaking, we have had a whole lot. It's just that we have little time. But we have extracted